Well, I don't think that many go bad. I think that McKinsey report, which I just had a meeting the other day with the McKinsey guy. I was chairing a session, and the McKinsey guy was on the panel, and he was talking about mergers and acquisitions and how what a great way they were to grow. And I said, wait a minute, I've been fighting analysts for 15 years based on your stupid report that says 70% of them fail. And that fundamentally isn't true. And I think the conditions that you want in an acquisition, you want to be sure there is a cultural fit as well as a numbers fit. You want to be sure that you don't pay too much. You don't get caught in deal heat, where you got to have it and the investment bankers are pumping you. And 5 or 10%, okay, but 20 and 30% over. I don't know if any of you follow the Guidant acquisition when Boston Scientific and Johnson & Johnson were in this big fight for the last several months. And everyone declared Boston Scientific the winner because they got it. Winner. They ended up paying 40% more than they started with. The acquisition has taken their stock from 35 to 16. Is that a winner? Johnson & Johnson, though, had a discipline where they said, this is what it's worth, and they announced that at the moment that they went beyond it, anybody can have it. We're not going any further. You need discipline in acquisition, because the deal gets everybody heated up, and away they go. You can't have what I call a reverse hostage. Now, you guys may have run into this a couple of times, but the reverse hostage is when you want a deal, before you know it, you're negotiating with the other CEO. And the conversation goes something like this. Look, I'd like to join your company, but I don't want your finance system. I don't want you coming to my planning meetings. I don't want you doing this. We got our culture, we want to stay the same. Before you know it, the guy you were buying owns you. And that happens too often in this game, reverse hostage situations. I think you want to move fast. Ideally, by the time the deal gets through the regulatory agencies, everyone's in place. You've got your team in place, ready to run. You're not figuring it out after you get that approval. By the time the 90 days is over for regulatory approvals, everyone knows who's going to sit in what chair. People don't realize, people who buy a lot of companies don't realize that being acquired is like a death in the family. All the old is the closest thing there is to it. All your old relationships disappear. Who your boss was, what's going to happen to my pay, when will my reviews come, what about you had a career plan all set. It's gone. It starts all over again. So it's an enormously traumatic thing. You've got to settle it down fast. And you've got to decide that there's no such thing as a merger of equals. It's the dumbest idea ever invented. Somebody buys you, you're bought. And they got to get their practices in as fast as possible. The classic example of this was when Daimler bought Chrysler. And they spent 2 years with A318 Airbuses flying between Stuttgart and Detroit, working on culture issues. Rome was burning, and they're talking about culture issues because they made it clear that they didn't buy them. Once Daimler admitted, Schrems would come out and said, we bought them, that game got cleared up pretty fast. And the Chrysler and the Daimler guys came into Detroit and fixed it.